Gauravata. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 4, Text 21. Mava Padavya Pitar Asmad Asthita.
Mavah padvay pitah asmatah astitah
Ya Yagna Shala Sunadu Mavartmabhi.
ya yagyashalasu nadhum vartamabhi
Nandanatripter Asubridbir Edita.
tat anyatripte asuvriddhi indita
Avyaktalinga Avadukta Sevitaha.
avyaktalinga avadut sevita.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear Father, the opulence we possess is impossible for either you or your flatterers to imagine. For persons who engage in fruitive activities by performing great sacrifices are concerned with satisfying their bodily necessities by eating foodstuff offered as a sacrifice. We can exhibit our opulences simply by desiring to do so. This can be achieved only by great personalities who are renounced, self-realized souls. So Sati is continuing to speak to her father, Daksh. She's saying you cannot even imagine the opulence of a pure devotee. When a pure devotee wants, he will exhibit his opulence, and when he does not want, he does not need to. Just simply by his desire, he can exhibit his opulence. So some may say that, oh, the pure devotees of the Lord seem to be materially very poor. But that's not true. We see great devotees of Krishna, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, they're all kings. They're all kings, so they are really greatly opulent. And yet, at the same time, they are renounced. Ambarish Maharaj. So she's saying you cannot even imagine you and your flatterers, because there are so many people who are scared in the arena to even speak to Sati because they're scared of Daksh. So that's why she's saying you and your flatterers. Uh, for to imagine, because she's saying people who are just performing uh, sacrifices just in the name or to get some material benefit, some pious activity, some punya karma, to go to the heavenly planet, to enjoy more. They cannot understand the opulence of the pure devotee. Sati's father was under the impression that he was exalted in both prestige and opulence, and that he had offered his daughter to a person who was not only poor but devoid of all culture. So, this is what Sati's father is thinking, that my daughter, she's the daughter of a Prajapati. Daksh is, after all, a great personality in the management of the universe, in the leadership of the universe. So he is living in palaces, having opulence, servants, everything, power. And he's saying, Lord Shiva, he doesn't even have a home of his own. But we can see, how the devotees of the Lord are very opulent. We just finished reading about Kardama Muni and Devahuti. She was the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. He's the emperor. But she got married to Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni had just a small ashram, nothing else. But he also had that capability to create a flying city in the aeroplane, flying city, so opulent, and gave her thousands of maidservants. So Sati is saying that she's telling her father, you and your followers will never be able to understand the opulence of a pure devotee. Her father might have been thinking that although she was a chaste woman, greatly adhering to her husband was in a deplorable condition. To counteract such thoughts, Sati said that the opulence possessed by her husband could not be understood by materialistic persons like Daksh and his followers, who were flatterers and were engaged in creative activities. So Sati wants to clarify this point with her father. She's purposely saying so that her father might say, oh, she's just a chaste woman. A chaste woman is always going to protect her husband. She does not want to listen anything against her husband. But here she's saying, hey, it's not only because he's my husband and I'm a chaste wife, but I'm telling you the truth, the position of Lord Shiva. So he possessed all opulence, but he did not like to exhibit them. Therefore, such opulences are called avyakta or unmanifested. But if required, simply by willing, Lord Shiva can show his wonderful opulences. And such an event is predicted here, for it would soon occur. That Lord Shiva, he is a pure devotee. He's always very calm, peaceful, always meditating. Does anyone remember any pastime where the devotee, um, people think, oh, he's just a simple person, but then he can show the opulence that he has. Can show that. Does anyone remember of any pastime?
Is it Vaman Dev? But he's Lord, not the devotee.
Yeah, Vamandev is the Lord.
Is it Lord?
Yeah.
Vaman Dev
Vamandev
is
is the
Lord.
Lord.
Lord. Okay, devotee was considered very small, right?
Yeah.
Or how about
I
Narad?
mean, even Prahlad Maharaj was considered really
Muni?
small and
Yeah, it's true.
yeah,
Lord
because he was always
Nrsimhadev came.
considered,
Yeah,
he was considered very small and like his father didn't took him very seriously.
that's
And
right.
so
And his opulence is the Lord came himself to protect him.
yes,
Yes, very
yes.
good.
And he always remembered Lord, always, no matter what the situation was.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he didn't.
yes. Thank you.
How about Narad Muni or Shukdev Goswami?
Yes.
Yes.
How? How do you say that?
Shukdev Goswami, like see how he would not wear clothes and he could recite the whole, right? He remembered the whole Bhagavatam
Mm.
and he was
Yes,
so
wonderful.
learned.
Yes, wonderful.
Like,
Although he was a young boy in the assembly
young
of
boy.
great sages. Yes, very good. Very good. And how Narad Muni?
Mhm. Narad Muni also, he was just a rishi, right? Muni, and he would go everywhere preaching, right? Giving the Lord's name to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Giving the Lord's name to everyone. Yes. That's his opulence. That's right. Making devotees just like that. Even to Mridari, the hunter, he gave love of Krishna. Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much.
He gave to Dhruv.
Hmm. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
He
that.
gave to Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruv means
Dhruv
when as a
Maharaj.
boy. Yeah.
Yes. Dhruv Maharaj. Yes, yes. So, yeah, the devotee may appear to be very materially. The devotee does not like to show anything. The devotee is just all the time immersed in love of Krishna, but he is greatly opulent. The opulence Lord Shiva possesses is enjoyable in renunciation and love of God, not in material exhibition of sense gratificatory methods. Such opulences are possessed by personalities like the Kumaras, Narad, and Lord Shiva, not by others. So the great personalities, the Mahajans, as we said, Prahlad Maharaj, Narad Muni, Lord Shiva, Kumaras, the Mahajans, the pure devotees. Wonderful. Sukadev Goswami.
So the
Yeah.
12 Mahajans they're talking, right? The 12 Mahajans.
Yeah. But it's actually there are 12 Mahajans are there, but we also have the contemporary Mahajans. You know,
Okay.
like the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. Yeah, they are Mahajans. Narottam Das Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. These are all Mahajans.
And
Yeah.
Daksh is a Prajapati, yeah?
Yeah, Daksh is Prajapati. He's materially very, very powerful. Materially, he has a great power because he's a Prajapati after all, you know. So he has so many people under him. But he is envious of a pure devotee, not able to, because of his envy, he's not able to understand the position of a pure devotee like Lord Shiva. He's like just looking at the superficial things.
So how about Kuvera? He
Kuvet,
comes as
the
a
treasurer of the demigods.
Yeah.
What happened?
No, means is he he's not considered Prajapati, he's a demigod. Is it?
He's a demigod. Yeah. He's the treasurer of the demigod. Yeah. Prajapatis were the ones who were given the duty to populate the universe. So imagine they have so much power to bear so many children, maintain so many children. Like Daksha, I don't know how many, more than 10,000 children, you know. So how much energy you would need to get 10,000 children? And to maintain them, to administrate them, to guide them. So like greatly powerful people. Those are the Prajapatis. Also, the 7 rishis were given the work of becoming the Prajapatis. We were reading the rishis who married Kardama Muni's daughters. 7 or 9 rishis? 9 rishis. So,
I think Saptarishi.
Sapta, so
No?
7 rishis. Then.
Yeah, so 7.
Okay, so 7 rishis. So then reading on in this verse, the performers of the Vedic rituals are condemned. They have been described here as Dhuma Vartamabhihi, those who maintain themselves on the remnants of sacrificial foodstuff. There are 2 kinds of foodstuff offered in sacrifice. One kind is food offered in fruitive ritualistic sacrifices, and the other, the best, is food offered to Vishnu. So, you know, many of us, we do some sacrifice, some yajna. But what is the reason we are doing this yajna for? What are we going to gain out of it? Why am I doing this yajna? That should be asked. Then we will understand, oh, what is the result I'm going to get with this yajna? So there are 2 kinds. One is that we are doing this yajna so I can get some pious punya karma. Why I want punya karma? Oh, so that I can get a better facility to enjoy, and then I will feel I'm so great and I'm enjoying so much. And what is the other yajna? Is to offer food to Lord Vishnu, and that is what is required. Pleasure of Lord Vishnu. Although in all cases, Vishnu is the chief deity on the sacrificial altar, the performers of fruitive rituals aim to satisfy various demigods to achieve in return some material prosperity. Real sacrifice, however, is to satisfy Lord Vishnu, and the remnants of such sacrifices are beneficial for advancement in devotional service. So, all sacrifices are actually meant for satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam. Krishna says even in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 29, that all penances, all austerities are meant for his satisfaction. So we may do certain sacrifice without understanding, oh, I need to please Lord Vishnu with this. And we may want to get some material benefit out of it. And for that reason, we want to flatter the demigods. We want to flatter the demigods so that the demigods can give us some material benediction. Real sacrifice. When real sacrifice is performed for the pleasure of Lord Krishna, what happens? That is devotional service. That helps us to in our path of devotional service. That helps us to get out of the material world. Because after all, we have to understand that we are just thinking we are the body. So we are doing all this, a lot of sacrifices, a lot of things, because we are thinking, oh, I'm the body. So I'm going to enjoy with the body more. So let me do such things. The main point to understand is that I'm not the body, I'm the spirit soul. I need to get out of this material atmosphere as soon as possible. And that happens when we can perform sacrifices for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. The process of elevation by performing sacrifices, other than those aimed at Vishnu, is very slow, and therefore it has been condemned in this verse. So, what happens is, by doing the karma kand, there is going to be a gradual elevation of consciousness. There will be, because one is understanding that there are higher powers, although there are too many material desires, but there is going to be a gradual elevation in consciousness. But what happens is we may get too distracted. Suppose we go out to the moon planet, and because we are enjoying so much, we may just give up our desire for self-realization and get so carried away, and then like thousands of years or millions of years pass by. And then again, we come back to the same point. Oh, let me try to understand who I am. So that's the reason the karmakand process is very slow. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has described the ritualistic performers to be like crows, because crows delight in eating the remnants of food which has been thrown into the dustbin. All the brahmanas who were present for the sacrifice were also condemned by Sati. Whether or not King Daksh and his flatterers could understand the position of Lord Shiva, Sati wanted to impress upon her father that he should not think her husband to be without opulence. Sati, being the devoted wife of Lord Shiva, offers all kinds of material opulences to the worshippers of Lord Shiva. This fact is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto. So, Lord Shiva, he is the master of Durga Devi. Durga Devi, she is in charge of all the material opulences. She's a material energy. And then she is following who? She's following her husband, of course. She's a chaste wife. She's not telling Lord Shiva, oh, you go do your thing, I'm going to go do my thing. No, she's following him. So she offers benedictions to Lord Shiva's followers. So that's the reason we see that Lord Shiva's followers, this is Lord Shiva's worshippers sometimes appear more opulent than the worshippers of Lord Vishnu, because Durga or Sati, being the superintendent in charge of material affairs, can offer all material opulences to the worshippers of Lord Shiva in order to glorify her husband. Whereas the worshippers of Vishnu are meant for spiritual elevation, and therefore their material opulence is sometimes found to decrease. These points are very nicely discussed in the 10th canto. So, what may happen if one reads this? One, because we are materially attached, and we are reading, oh my God, if I pray to Lord Shiva, I'm going to get more and more material opulence. I'll get more money, I'll get more rich, more knowledge, more beauty, everything. And here I'm reading that if we worship Lord Vishnu, then sometimes maybe my opulence will go away. So we may get scared. Or then why should I worship Lord Vishnu? Let me worship Lord Shiva instead. Because then I can be materially opulent. Because we are not able to understand, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. We are thinking I'm the body, everything to do with the body. So the correct way to understand this is we can see that Lord Krishna's devotees are in fact the most opulent. It's not that Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu's devotees are not opulent. They are the most opulent. We can see how in history the great kings were all devotees of Krishna. And who can be more opulent than a king? We just spoke Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, they are kings. So they have a lot of palace, gold, jewels, property, everything. Bharat Maharaj, whole planet was called after him. Then we see the Janak
Janak
Maharaj.
Maharaj? Yeah, sorry.
Yes, thank you. Yes, he's a king too. So it's not, or Ambarish Maharaj, he's a king. Bhagavatam is full of these saintly kings. And they are kings, so of course they are opulent. The Pandavas, Krishna gave the whole world to Yudhishthir Maharaj. He made him the emperor of the earth, gave him the full earth. So it's not that the devotees are not opulent. In fact, the devotees are the most opulent. We can see how Krishna gave Srila Prabhupada the whole world. How many temples, farms, communities, everything Krishna gave Srila Prabhupada. Because pure devotee. We see the six Goswamis. What are the backgrounds? In those days, Raghunath Das Goswami's father was a billionaire. In those days. So just imagine, according to today's worth, how rich would he be? Or even Rup Sanatan Goswami, that they had boatfuls of gold. So because many times people get afraid, oh, if I worship Lord Vishnu, I'm going to become poor. It's not that. No, Krishna's devotees are the most opulent. Most opulent. Is that all right? Any comments or anything to share?
Yeah, and that's why it says, the worshippers of Vishnu in that sentence are meant for spiritual elevation, and therefore their material opulence is sometimes found to decrease.
Yeah. But you know
right?
what, sometimes we may say that, well, I know I understand I need spiritual elevation, but I'm still in the material body. So I still have my material needs. I still have to maintain my body, I have to maintain my family, my commitments. So what's happening? So some may get scared of this. But the point to understand is the devotees are the most opulent. Most opulent. Because we are meant for spiritual elevation, but we are not able to understand. We are still thinking I'm the body. Does that make sense? I'm just saying how it
material
could be
opulence will
misused.
go.
Just saying, I'm just trying to bring to a point how it could be misunderstood. And somebody might say that, oh, no, it's better I don't worship Lord Krishna.
Because
So
they
there
always
will be a
give the
material.
example of Sudama ji, right?
Sudama.
People give the example of Sudama ji always. कि, अरे तुम तो कृष्ण के भक्त हो ना तो तुम तो
Yes,
Sudama. Yeah, right? They give that example in most of the places, but it's not like that.
But then Krishna gave Sudama so many riches.
Yeah. And that was due to his devotion only, right?
Yeah.
Because he was a devotee. He never forgot Krishna, no matter what the situation was.
So we can see that Krishna gave Sudama like palaces and I don't know what not. So because some people may misunderstand this and get scared that, oh, I should not worship Krishna because I'm going to go become poor. In the beginning of our spiritual life, if we are hearing this, then we'll say, oh my God, leave it. Who wants to do this? Right? Because we'll say we have material obligations, we have material commitments. So what's happening? It's not a fact. Krishna's devotees are the most opulent. Most opulent. Does anyone remember any other pastime?
I remember
Sudama was
Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was also very, very, like as you mentioned, he was like, though he looked very, very simple and he was born in the Muslim family, but still looked the opulence that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself protected him when he was beaten in the Vice Bazaar.
Yes, in the 22 marketplaces. Yes,
22 marketplace, Vice Bazaar. So opulent, right?
Yes.
And that is not very long time back. That is just 500 years back.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So true. And that's why I gave the was like of Srila Prabhupada, Krishna gave him how many temples and how much opulence is there. So, yeah,
I
because
think even
sometimes people say that. I'm sorry.
Jayapataka Swami Maharaj also, though he has suffered so much, but he hasn't stopped preaching. So what is that? That is the Krishna has given him that power, just like how he gave it to Prabhupada. So he's giving it to his devotees.
That's right. It's true.
Like if you see, right? If you see Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, the way he gives the lecture, but he never stops. He's not stopping, he's traveling.
Yes.
Though he is suffering so much in it, because his body is putting extra pressure, but he doesn't care because he's there to serve.
Yes, and we are looking at it as suffering because we are looking at from our point of view.
Material, we are looking at the
We don't
material
know his
point of view.
consciousness, right? He's Krishna
Yes,
conscious.
absolutely. He's
So
Krishna
he's Krishna
conscious,
conscious, and that's his opulence.
Yes, that's his
Krishna
opulence.
conscious.
Yeah.
He's not attached to the body. He's detached from
Yeah.
He's using his body in the service of Krishna.
Krishna.
Using the body because see, he needed liver transplant, kidney transplant at the same time. He didn't say, I'm gonna give it up. That okay, I don't need the body anymore. It's okay. No. He said, I'm gonna get well, I'll get the transplants, and I will continue. Yare dekhe tare kaha Krishna Upadesh. To that degree, because imagine that the body is so gone so bad that your major organs are failing. He said, no, I'm not going to give up. So, yeah.
Even Ayendra Prabhu, like he never stopped. He did the kirtan. There was no facilities at that time in Vrindavan when he reached there, but he still never stopped. He created a Sankirtan movement for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like I heard in one of the lectures, Amrinder Prabhu said that they used to pay at that time to the Kirtaniyas and they would request them to come and do. But then as soon as Ayendra Prabhu started, there was no looking back, and it's still going on for 24 hours. And he would create different rhythms. He has so many of it to sing.
Yeah, so true.
So that is opulence, right? That's Krishna's opulence.
Yes. Yes.
Like how opulent he made him.
Yes.
We are talking about them now.
Yes.
So that's the opulence, right?
Yes, it is. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So that in case anyone tells us that, so we can give them the examples and then we can explain to them that it's not true that Krishna's devotees are not. Krishna's devotees are very open. Yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srimad ki jai, Gaur Bhakta ki jai, Hare Krishna. I'm sorry, did you want to say something? No? Okay, so yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.